What's up guys, Belamy here and welcome to episode 3 of the Archeage Survival Guide. Today we're going to be talking about mining in Archeage and more specifically how to get into it, why it's a really good thing to do if you want to earn yourself some gold or maybe farm materials for certain things that you might be crafting. And we're just going to go over, a few of the best locations for you to be mining in the game and some tips and tricks as to how to speed up the mining process and make things a little bit better and things that you should be looking out for when doing so. So today, we're just going to be doing some basic mining stuff, how to get into it, why it's useful to do, and yeah, let's jump right into it, and we're going to go jump in game. Okay, so we're over here in Solus on my alt character over here, over near Halo Hollow, up in Solus Headlands at one of the few prime locations for mining that I'll be showing you guys in this video. And as you can see, it's a pretty juicy place as far as mining nodes go. There's a few other players around here popping mining, as we can see. Pretty much that's going to be the case for this spot for the whole video, I would say. It's a kind of low pop time of the day because it's oceanic time. Most Americans and stuff are going to be asleep, so this is a pretty popular spot, and even at this time of day we got quite a few people coming around here mining. So we're going to show you guys a few little basic things for mining. For those of you who don't know, a mining node looks like this. This is your bread and butter mining node, a stone pile. Now, mining these is going to net you with a little bit of raw stone. I can see I got a little bit in my bag here from mining previously. Pretty basic. You're going to just get, pop it, and you're going to get some stone. Nothing too special. You can't get anything else from these other than stone. But what we're looking for when mining these is for a Fortuna vein to pop. Now, if I can just get a little bit better RNG here and have one of them actually pop. Alright, it doesn't want to happen for us. But essentially, every time you are going to pop one of these stone piles, this can happen. So we can get an additional node spawn after the stone pile has been dealt with, which is called a Fortuna vein. And this is going to sparkle a little bit, and it's going to take a little bit longer to mine and a little bit more labor. This costs 20 labor to mine, whereas the stone pile only costs 10. Now, we can see, if we look at our things here, we can see that we acquired 23 iron ore, 1 pure iron ore, and 3 raw stone from that. So whereas with the stone pile we were only getting just raw stone, that Fortuna vein actually gave us some iron ore as well. So we got another one here, so this is cool. We'll see what we get from this one. And we got... Alright, we got 25 iron ore and 2 raw stone. So no pure iron ore this time. That was just a lucky chance that I got that extra pure iron ore. But basically, when you're mining regular nodes like these ones, you're more or less hoping for the Fortuna veins. That's where the real value's at. Now, the stone pile themselves, unless you just happen to need stone for building houses or whatever it is you might be doing yourself, and you want to farm that yourself, more or less, we're just trying to get through the stone ones to get the Fortuna veins. They have a pretty decent proc chance. I'd say it's probably like a 20% chance for you to get a Fortuna vein. That's just based on experience, so I don't actually know the numbers. So every time, since we got another Fortuna vein here, they're popping pretty frequently. I just had some pretty bad RNG with those first 4 or 5 that I mined. And we see we got some silver ore that time, so I got 3 silver ore, which was quite nice. Now, what we're looking for when we're mining, more or less, if you want value in terms of gold, if you're going to be selling the stuff you're getting, is going to be copper. Now, copper can drop from each of those Fortuna veins. This is where a lot of value's at. You can see copper on my server right now is going for almost 4 gold per ore. So, just the 9 that I got from the little bit of mining that I did on screen during the opening of the video, I got already 33 gold worth of copper ore, and, I got a little bit of gold worth of iron ore. You can see I'm getting a pretty consistent amount of iron ore, and that sells pretty decently, and gold also sells quite decently as well. Silver is not the greatest. It's useful for crafting and things like that, but I guess there's just more of it on my server than is in demand right now. So you can see just from the few base things that I've got, stone is worth practically nothing because there's so much of it in rotation, because of how many people mine, because of how valuable copper, gold, and iron are. So stone, not the most valuable thing in the world. Like I said, you're mostly just trying to get past the stone to get to the valuable stuff that can pop from the Fortuna veins. So I can keep going ahead and mine here, and we're just going to hope to get Fortuna veins. There's nothing too crazy about that. Now, I will point out that sometimes when mining a Fortuna vein, you have a small chance of proccing a mysterious vein that can spawn afterwards. That requires a very high mining proficiency for you to mine, and we're not going to be focusing on that in this video because this is just going to be mining basic stuff. So again, we got some more Fortuna veins, pretty nice stuff. Hopefully we get something good from this. Yeah, we got some more iron ore. Iron ore is most likely what you're going to get the majority of the time, But again, the chase items are the copper ore and the gold ore, and I will also point out that Fortuna Veins do have a chance to give different gemstones, things like amethysts, rubies, diamonds, sapphires, different stuff like that, some of which are quite valuable and some of which are not very valuable. And that's simply due to the fact that a lot of, some of the gemstones specifically are required for making things such as your Flawless Dream Ring and the Hiram Ring and different things like that. So the demand for them is super high, meaning that they're quite valuable. So if I just show you guys here real quick on my server, if I look up Topaz, you see Topaz are going for 6 gold each, so if you get some of them, it's pretty good. Diamonds, I think, are pretty expensive. Yeah, so they're almost 12 gold each. What else? Emeralds, I think, are pretty expensive as well. So yeah, these are 7 gold. And then there's some cheaper ones, like I think rubies are actually pretty cheap. Yeah, so rubies are only 70 silver, so that's a bit of a rip if you hit a ruby. And what was the other one? Sapphires? Spell sapphire right. And yeah, they're only 34 silver too. So some of them are really, really good if you happen to get some gemstones that are worth a decent amount on your server. And some of them are just, you know, pretty useless. Most of the time they won't even sell. Depending on, you know, what they're actually being used for at the time. At the moment, in the current state of the game, a lot of people need a lot of those gemstones, the expensive ones, for their rings, for their quest lines for them. So they're pretty expensive, making, you know, if you happen to proc one of them and get a decent amount of gemstones, you can make a solid amount of gold selling those. So that's always nice too, a good little bonus when that happens. They're quite rare though to actually get off a Fortuna Vein. However, that chance is slightly increased with your proficiency. So the higher your proficiency is, the better RNG essentially you're going to get with these things, is the way that I understand it. So my proficiency currently is, where's my mining on this character? Can I even see it? So I'm just shy of 20k, so it's very, very low as far as proficiency goes. You can get it all the way up to 230,000. So once you get up to that, you're obviously going to mine a lot faster. The labor cost is going to go down significantly. For those of you who don't know, you can look at the rank details here on your proficiency, and you can see here that as your level progresses, you get reduced labor cost all the way up to 40%, and the production time, which in this case means the mining speed, is increased by these percentages as you go. So the higher your proficiency is, the faster you'll mine, and you will get more XP as well. We don't really care about XP. And from my understanding, the higher your proficiency is, the better RNG essentially you have with certain things. So the chances of getting like pure iron ore when mining a Fortuna Vein and getting iron is going to be much higher. That would be the same for getting pure copper or pure gold or proccing gemstones and things like that that are going to be quite valuable. So that's the gist of it. That's what we're mining for. There are a couple little niche things that I'll show you guys towards the end of the video. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump in and we're going to show you guys 4 of the prime spots for you to be mining in Archeage. Places like this one that have a lot of mining nodes in one area. Obviously, you can find nodes all throughout the world in different places, but they'll most likely be far and few between in most cases. But we're going to show you guys 4 different spots, 2 on Harania and 2 on Nuia, that are going to give you decent what's the word I'm looking for? Density as far as stone piles go and mining nodes and things like that. So this is the first location. It is over in Solace Headlands at Halo Hollow down here. You can get a port to this area right here, Halo Hollow, and all you have to do is run up over the hill and down into this little area here, and you can get access to all of these mining nodes, and it's quite good. So Solace Headlands, this is the safe zone area on the Harania faction. So if you're an underleveled character, like even you're level 1, you won't be messed with over here. It's perfectly safe for you to mine here as a Harania character, so this is a popular zone. It's quieted down though. The few people that we saw here as we started the recording of this they're all gone, or they're just not mining anything right now. So if, you know, this would be a prime time right now for me to actually go ahead and mine the rest of my labor out, but for the sake of the video, we're just going to go ahead and go show you guys the other spots. And real quick, before I show you guys the other 3 spots that we're going to be showing in this video, I will include a screenshot of the maps of each of these 4 different locations in the description of the video in the form of an image post or something along those lines. It'll be down in the description, so just go ahead and look at those if you want to see just the 4 locations on the maps around the world. Pretty simple, just going to leave that down there below, so if you're small brain and you're unable to just pause the video when I have the map open, I'm going to leave that down there for your convenience. So let's continue with the video. Alright, so the next location we're going to show you guys is the second location on the Harania faction side, and it is up in Yenistia. Now, this is not a safe zone. Obviously, if the zone's in peace, then you can come over here safely as a lower level character, but coming here on a character where you can't defend yourself is going to carry some risks. If an enemy player shows up, obviously you might be in some trouble. So, now this area continues all the way through this Glitterstone mine. The closest portal to it is Glitterstone here, which is the community center for Unisteer. And you can see the mining nodes here, they're a little bit more spread out compared to the other location we just were at previously, but you can see, as long as they're not mined out, you can see all the different mining nodes through here. This is just the entrance to the area, so we've got mining nodes all through here on both sides of the walls here, and then there's some up the left here. Can't really see them, it's a bit of an awkward time of day with the night setting in, but we've got some stone piles all through here, all up the left here, and there's some around here as well. And then we can come into this cave here. So I'm going to go ahead and just run straight in here, and I'll show you guys all the different little spots in this cave with all the mining nodes. Now, just up past this next little corner here, we'll start seeing mining nodes after this little thing here. And we can see there's some right off there at the start, and we're going to go ahead and hook a right up here, and we're going to go up through. You can see there's a bunch of mining nodes all through here as well. You can pretty much do a path through here getting all the mining nodes, and by the time you're done, all of the ones behind you will have respawned. So there's a few up there, but I like to take a left here and go through. There's a bunch here. You can see all these different mining nodes. We're going to go ahead and cross over this bridge. Obviously, there are level 32 mobs in here, so if you're under about that level and you don't have the ability to defend yourself if you aggro them, it can be a bit rippy, but you see there's a few more nodes through here. We can go up here, a couple nodes here to our left, nothing up in there. And then this area goes all the way up till the end just here. Not too bad, a couple mining nodes, nothing too dense, probably about 10 nodes in this little side section. I'm going to go over to here, I'm going to take this other direction, and there's some decent spots up through here. I'm going to see some nodes around this pool. There's also some nodes in the pool, you can't quite see them, but you can see I can mouse over them all in there. So there's a couple in there. And up through here we have some extra little nodes, and there's a little mini boss in here, this guy here, and there's some nodes around him. So that's pretty much the gist of the Glitterstone cave. It's not a super crazy place that you're going to get lost. You'll learn it pretty quickly. It's not like a crazy cave in any way, shape or form. You'll find your way out, no problems here. And I'll show you guys, just for the sake of it, the little bit that I spoke about at the start. So this is that first little area that I showed you guys with the extra mining things around, and then up along this little path here, there's a few extra nodes, but there's not many from memory. Yeah, so there's 2 nodes here, and then that's pretty much it. That's the exit of the cave, the other exit of the cave up there. So there's 2 nodes up here. Not really worth running all the way up here generally to get all those nodes, but yeah, you can see not as dense as far as nodes go compared to the spot in Halo Hollow that we were at previously, but pretty decent. And if the other place is a bit too populated with other people, then maybe this is a good bet to come up and try this area. So pretty cool. We're going to show you guys the next area. Alright, so we've made our way over to Cinderstone Moor on our alt character. You can see we're over here. We're in the Newer faction area now. So we're over in Cinderstone. It is a hostile zone, so this is the equivalent to Unisteer for the West players. Now, the closest portal for me was the Burnt Castle Armory dungeon, and I just ran straight across here. But if you're a West player or, not an alt, you might have some closer portals. I don't know if Burnt Castle Camp is not exactly closer. I think Burnt Castle Armory is probably the best port that you're going to be able to take, I'd say, even if you're a West character. You can see we're in this seaside molten area. I will point out before we show this whole area that all of the kind of craters in this zone, you can see them on the map pretty clearly. Each of them has a couple mining nodes in them, some around the ridges of it and some in the actual craters themselves. Nothing too crazy though, nothing too dense. But you can see through here, there's, just some nice, a few stone things just spread out along this area. There's not too many mobs, and the ones that are here are orange, so they're not going to aggro onto you if you get in too close to them. But you can see, it's not the craziest dense place. It's kind of equivalent to Unisteer, the Glitterstone mine in that way. But there's some decent, there's a decent amount of stone, and if you're doing this solo, mining this on your own, then more likely than not, you're going to be able to just mine it all, and then the beginning of it will be respawning, and you'll be able to get extra nodes by the time the ones you've already mined are respawning. So that's quite nice. Sorry, I'm playing on my alt character here, so I don't exactly have things keybound, but you can see I can run by these mobs, and they're not going to aggro to me. They might have a funny look at me, but just running along this little bit of the coast, there's not the craziest amount of mines, but enough to, enough for one player to handle and sustain on. And it pretty much gets up to about this spot here, and this is about the furthest mining node that you're going to get in this little area. So it's not the craziest in terms of mining spots. You're not going to be, mining with 3 or 4 other players here and sustaining very well, because the respawn time on the nodes is like a couple minutes, give or take, and it'll take you 4 or 5 minutes to get through all of these, depending on your mining speed. But you can see the nodes are there. There's not a crazy amount like in the first position we showed you guys, or the one that we're about to show you guys next, but it's respectable. It's a good spot, again, if the two safe zone ones are occupied on your respective factions. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go show you guys the safe zone mine, the one that's equivalent to the really dense mine on the Hiranya faction over on the Nuia here. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so the final location that we're going to be covering is the safe zone for Nuian characters, which is in Dewstone Plains, over here in the very north of Dewstone Plains here on the Nuia continent, and it is in the excavation site up here in the northeast of the zone. If you're an east player, you're probably not going to want to be mining here regardless, but this closest port in for you is most likely going to be the Sharpwind Mines dungeon down here, which is where I ported and ran up from. But like I said, this is mostly going to be for west players only. If you're an east player, you're probably not going to want to come anywhere near here, because unless you can defend yourself, you're most likely going to get yourself killed. Now, the Royster's camp has a portal there, so if you're a west player, you can pick that portal up no problem, and you can port pretty much straight in next to the mining area here whenever you need to bring your character over for a little bit of a mining session. So we'll go ahead and show this one. Most likely, since this is a popular one, there's going to be some west players here mining. You can see there are some mobs. They're only level 16 or so they're pretty low level and pretty easy to kill, even for a low level character. You can see we got a player here that's mining. And there's nodes pretty much all through this area, all through each of these different little nodes. There's a few stray stone piles here, but they pretty much load up this whole area, like all through here. There's a bunch of different nodes that can spawn in this whole little area. So it's a pretty tight area with a lot of nodes. I'd say it's pretty comparable to the Solus one that we showed earlier in the video. There's a lot of nodes in a really tight spot. It's probably not quite as much as the Solus area, but they're nice and packed in close together, and if you're mining it solo or with just 2 or 3 other people, there's more than enough mining nodes to go around for people who are speed mining and, you know, pumping out all of those nodes really, really quickly. So you can't really see it right now because this champion up here is pumping through the nodes like an absolute beast, and you can't see that they're all where they all spawn, but essentially the whole way along here there's just a complete line of nodes all around each of these little, you know, areas. There's a ton of nodes that spawn around each of them. All around here, there's like 5 to 10 nodes around each of them. Like, it's pretty crazy how many nodes that actually spawn in this tight little area. I can kind of follow this guy and show you guys the ones that he's going to be grabbing, but you can see he's mining incredibly fast. So presumably he has pretty high proficiency in mining, but on top of that, he's using a bunch of different things to speed up his mining, which we're about to talk about. So, like I said, you can speed up your mining, it's pretty good, and that's going to lead us into the tips and tricks part of this video, where we're going to cover some basic ways for you to speed up your mining. It's things that are very simple for you to get and not too complex to describe in a basic video, but we'll most likely do a follow-up video to this somewhere in the future where we cover some more advanced mining tips and tricks and some more advanced mining stuff. But nevertheless, I'll show you guys 2 of the simple things you can do to speed up your mining process. As you can see, this guy, if you just look at his cast bar here, he mines in less than a second, basically. Whereas me, it takes me about 3 seconds. So he's mining incredibly fast. But nevertheless, we'll show you guys 2 simple things that you can do on Archeage Unchained that are very easy to speed up the mining process and make it a little less tedious if you're having to burn lots and lots of labor. Now, the first thing that we talked about earlier is obviously your proficiency. If your proficiency gets a bit higher, obviously it's going to be a lot easier for you to mine, but that's not something that you can just switch on. Obviously, that's going to happen over time. The first simple thing that you can do is you can go into your vocation tab here, and you can go almost to the end. It's on page 8 out of 9, and we're looking at the Dawn's Drop Fist. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Dawn's Drop, each of these are related to a few different vocations, and what they essentially do is give you a certain amount of proficiency in that vocation, and it allows you to speed up your processing with said vocation. So if we're looking at, on page 8 here, the Dawn Drop Fists, which are the ones we want to look at for mining, you can see the equip effect reads increases larceny, machining, and mining proficiencies by 5,000, and it says can complete actions faster when related actions are completed consecutively. So the way this works is I've got a pair here, I already have them equipped, and if I go ahead and mine, if I can grab one that this guy's not going to snake out from under me here, I can go ahead and pop this one, and it will give me a buff. And that buff is going to say can complete larceny, machining, and mining related actions faster. Now this stacks 3 times, so the next time I use this, as long as it's within the the 45-second duration, is going to speed it up even more, and it's going to give me more action speed every single time. So I got 2 stacks of this now, and that means I'm going to mine slightly faster. So if I can find another node that this guy hasn't already vacuumed up like a fucking Hoover, I will show you guys that. Alright, there's a couple over here. Let's pop one of these, and we'll get it to the 3rd stack here. Now, you can see, even with 2 stacks, and then again after that with 3 stacks, I'm still not mining at the crazy speed that he is, because he has a lot of different modifiers. But you can see, just with the 3 stacks of this, my mining is significantly faster and makes things a little bit nicer to deal with. So 3 stacks of that, simply from Dawn's Drop. People have told me that the tier of the Dawn's Drop actually increases this. Now, I'll explain really quickly. These Dawn's Drop pieces can be upgraded through just basic mats. They're not too difficult to get, but we're not going to talk about it in this video. Simply put, the tier 4 version is just going to give you more proficiency, so it's going to give you 20,000 as opposed to the previous 5,000 that we were getting. Am I getting attacked by this guy's pet is attacking me? My word. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move out of here. Like I said, this is not the best place for you to be farming on a low-level character if you're mining. So that's the first thing. Dawn's Drop gloves are going to be your go-to, in my opinion. Mining without them is kind of horse shit. You want to have Dawn's Drop fists at the bare minimum to make it at least bearable in terms of the mining speed. Otherwise, you're going to take way too much time mining, and that's just not what you want. So Dawn's Drop fists are a great way to speed up your mining action speed. And the other simple way for you to do so on Archeage Unchained is go to your diligence here. And if you're doing this on an alternate character, not your main, this is super easy to do. And you can go to the luxury tab, and you can buy yourself a bound vocation hastener scroll. And this is going to give you decreased production time by 15% for 2 hours. So you can go ahead and pop this before a mining session. It'll more than likely cover the time it takes for you to burn however much labor you want to burn mining. So that's great, and it speeds up your stuff by 15%. So that on top of the Dawn's Drop gets you to a respectable speed. You can see I have one that's popped already. I popped at the start of this video when I started filming. And you can also get yourself a Bound Vocation Expertise Tonic, which is going to decrease your production time by another 10%, and it's also going to increase the vocation badges you're earning for 60 minutes as well. So each mining node, you're going to get 1 vocation. I don't think it makes it give you 2, but if for some reason you have like a Bound Vocation Tonic on as well, you can get some more vocation from that, but that's, each to their own if you want to do that kind of thing. So those are 3 super simple ways for you to speed up your mining process and, help it be a little less tedious. Like I said, in a future video, we might do some more advanced mining stuff and some more advanced tips and tricks for mining. But for this video, that's pretty much the easy ways to increase your mining speed. There are other ways, like we saw this guy up here had incredibly fast mining speed. We're not going to cover that in this video because some of them are a bit more tedious to explain. And like I said, this was just intended to be a basic mining video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something about mining. More often than not, the people who are watching this video are probably going to know all that there is to know about mining and don't really need to learn from me. But if you're new to Archeage and maybe you hadn't tried mining yet, hopefully this helped you in some way, shape, or form. If it did, give the video a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode of the Archeage Survival Guide. Cheers, guys.